everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Look Past Limits. Today is day 11 of the van build.
And today is another day continuing on with the kitchen build. So the van's a complete mess because we've been working inside this morning already in the rain, only for about half an hour or so, but we didn't start filming because it's really dark in here in the rain. But it's starting to brighten up now, so we're back on camera again and we'll show you what we've been up to. All we've really got done this morning was fitting the gas locker here, so you saw us building that yesterday. So we've just put that in place here. It's just bolted through the floor and into this piece of wood that's attached to the frame at the back here. And we don't have the gas bottle in yet, but there's space there for the gas bottle to go in. The hose will come up through this hole here and will be connected to the gas stove, which will be mounted somewhere about here on the worktop when we get round to that later. And we also need to drill a hole through the floor now that it's bolted into place, all the way through, down through the floor and through the metal floor of the van, and put a pipe and seal that in there. We'll do that inside the locker there, and that'll be a vent drop out. And there's this little lip, so if there is any gas leak inside there from the bottle or from the regulator or anything, it should drop down out the floor there. So the next task is to put together a very basic water system. We're only going to have cold water in the van, no hot water, and we're only going to have it at one point. We don't have a shower or anything, so it's just the kitchen tap. Once we get the worktop on here, then the kitchen sink will be mounted about here, and the tap will be mounted about there. It's a normal household kitchen tap, and it's a mixer tap, so you can open it and close it just as you would in the house, and we want that to operate from the pump in here. So what we've got, super basic setup, is a submersible pump here. Again, this one's from a German brand, but I'll put a link in the description to one that we've used in the UK before. And you can get the same ones everywhere on Amazon and whatnot. And I've just attached it here to a 10mm clear food safe hose. The plastic that the water tank's made from is food grade as well. And we've just attached that with a Jubilee clip, and it comes with this cable already connected to it, which also is submerged in the water. And I've ran that up to here and drilled a couple of holes in the lid that came off of the tank and just poked that through. So that's as far as I've got just now. I'll need to extend the cables that came with it on the end here, and then what we're also going to do is we're going to use this pressure switch, which will mean that when you open the normal tap up here, it activates this pump because it senses the change in pressure. Again, really simple little switch, and a couple of connections on here that we can run to the fuse box. And we're also going to put in this non-return valve. The pump sort of has a non-return valve built into it as well, but if there's a drop in pressure anywhere after you've closed the tap, the pump can sort of start to run again. So we think if we put this right here next to the pressure switch, when the water sucks up from the pump and you close the tap, when it sits here it won't be able to drop back down again, and the pump won't detect any change in pressure and it won't start running again. So that's the plan for now. I'll put this together and then I will also show you the very basic wiring that we need to do for it as well. So here's the water system done for now. So the other side of that pipe there is the water point that we installed on the outside of the van. The water comes in there, fills this tank, it's completely sealed, so this blue hose acts as an air vent and also an overflow, so that if you overfill it, it will just shoot back outside. And then we've got the submersible pump in the bottom there that I showed you earlier. The pipe comes up here, a small non-return valve, and then into this pressure switch. This end will get connected to the tap. Eventually, once we've got the worktop in place, the tap will sit here and that will just get connected onto there. So we'll show you that in a later episode. And in terms of the wiring, we've just got we've actually used 2.5mm, which is a bit overkill, but better to be too heavy than too light. So we've got that running around here. It's going to come from a switch over on the electrical panel here. It runs into one side of the pressure switch. The other side of the pressure switch I've just connected here to the live from the pump, and then the negative from the pump I've just connected from the negative of this wire that I brought round here, and that will go back to the negative bus bar on the fuse box, which will be down here somewhere. So positive and negative coming round, going through the switch. The positive goes through the switch into the pump, and the negative comes back up from the pump and back to the fuse box. So the next step is to cut this piece of wood that we're going to use as a worktop. We're going to cut it here at an angle like this. We're going to use this piece over here, and we're going to use the offcuts to make some triangle shaped shelves down in here. And then obviously we need to cut the holes out for the stove and the sink and the tap.
Alright, that's the worktop in place.
Trial fit only.
Trial fit, this is how it's gonna look. But now we're gonna take it out again, sand it and varnish it before we can actually attach it in the van.
We're just going to take the worktop back inside with us tonight and give it a coat of varnish. It'll probably need a few coats, and there's a lot of crap flying about in the air here, so I think we'll do it inside in the spare room and hopefully give it a nice good finish. And then once we get that done, it's just a case of putting it in place and screwing from the underside on the frame to attach it, and then we can drop the sink and the stove in and we're pretty much ready to connect them up. So we're getting there with the kitchen. We still need to get the fridge in here tomorrow maybe, and there's a few other bits and pieces, but the kitchen will start to come together pretty quickly once that's on. We've got that shelf up there done today as well, and we've got a couple of shelves on this side to put on as well, and that'll tie that together, and then we'll be on to heating system, electrics, and then building the bed, I think. So thanks very much again for watching today, guys. If you're enjoying these videos, please remember to subscribe and give them a like, and we'll see you tomorrow for the next one. Cheers.